going to start posting a lot more videos about things that might be very, very controversial and that might raise a lot of debate, a lot of disagreement, which is fine. I'm just sharing things that I've come across over the years and that I continue to come across, sharing it for thoughts, feedback. I'm not saying I know everything. All I'm saying is I come across a lot of stuff and things make me think. And over many, many years, you start to put the pieces together, you start to connect the dots, and things start to get really interesting. There's just certain things you see you can't deny. So like me, I grew up Christian, going to church, and like I remember as a kid, I always asked questions like, who is God? Where did God come from? Well, why did God have to flood the whole earth just because people were not listening to him? And there's just so many things I felt as a kid that were left unanswered. And as I started to get older, but I always believed in God. I always sensed that deep in my spirit that God was real. And I always believed in Jesus Christ, and I always believed in the Holy Spirit. And I enjoyed the Bible stories and growing up learning about it, and it always gave me strength and faith as a kid, as I was growing and when I was young. It helped me in life in a lot of ways, having faith as a youngster. I will say that. But what I want to go into is, like I said, I had a lot of questions that were unanswered. Just things that I would ask, because I always thought differently. And even as a kid, I was made to feel kind of awkward or out of place, like an outcast because of it. And that's fine. But I always asked questions that other people wouldn't really ask. I remember being in Sunday school asking, like, well, where does God come from? And stuff like that. What do angels look like? And what and why doesn't God forgive Satan if he's all God? And just all kinds of things that I would ask, and no one could ever. They would just sometimes they'd laugh at me. No one could ever really give me the answer to a lot of these questions. Nevertheless, I still very much had a strong faith, and I continued to in God. Okay, but as I started getting older, and the internet evolved, and technology evolved, our phones evolved, all this stuff continued to grow and change rapidly. Well, now you have so much information at your fingertips. And I remember when 9/11 happened. Like, I even in high school, I never got into the politics thing because from a strong faith standing, I figured it was all corrupt and bullshit anyways. And I maintained that position for a very long time. Probably for most of my life. Because I never voted, to be honest, ever until Trump. But I always felt like it was just a big show. Like, none of it mattered. I always felt it was bullshit. When 9/11 happened, I remember just thinking, none of it ever really, because again, mind you, I was a mischievous youth. I questioned authority. I challenged everything. I was just kind of did my own thing. And when 9/11 happened, I really just didn't believe the official story. And then so that was the beginning of my journey. Is my point, is 9/11. From a very strong biblical understanding, biblical teaching, and growing up in church, from a good foundation there, what is the occult? What are secret societies? And it sparked my interest into a mind-blowing journey, which ultimately has led me to right here, right now. And the things we're seeing going on, I mean, there's people that were talking about pedophilia and there's people that were talking about this stuff years ago, right when I got into this, right when I started learning about all of this. They were talking about it then, man. And so many of these people have disappeared. You cannot find their material, their videos, nothing anymore. They've been removed. Why? As a free citizen of this country, we have the right to information. We have the right to know. We have the right to freedom of speech. People can share what they want, say what they want, and whether we agree or not, we have the right to do so. And I support everyone's right to do so. But things are being shut down and removed and censored constantly. And it's just over all the years it starts to really lay a solid foundation, like there is truth to all of this. I mean, videos I watched years ago about CERN, about Agenda 21, about all of the elites, just so much stuff has been magically removed. Pizzagate, Obamagate, all the corruption, so much of this stuff has disappeared. Why? Tell me why. I remember watching my dad as a kid. He'd get so upset about politics and he'd get so worked up about it. And I just remember as a kid, I just thought it was just bullshit. I thought it was the biggest circus, the biggest soap opera facade I've ever seen in my life. Never, ever, ever did I ever think it was worth anything to give any of your time or attention. I didn't even vote until Trump. I got sucked into it and I voted for Trump. And part of me still wishes and hopes that he is fighting for the right thing and that the movement is fighting for the right thing. There's a lot there that makes me think that that's very, very possible. But there's another part of me that thinks it's very possible it's all bullshit. Only time will tell. But certain things are happening everywhere, all around us. It's very interesting. Like I've said before, when you look at the JFK and the family ties and true history, when you really look at it, lots of stuff has gone on. Trump was a very close friend to JFK Jr., the son of John F. Kennedy. Anybody that knows anything about that story, that should say a lot to you. JFK Jr. was really kind of carrying the torch that his father had left. He was a close friend of Donald Trump. It's like good and bad royalty almost, in a sense, it seems like battling. So hopefully, if that is the case, maybe we're starting to see a slight hint of battles being won. So when you break it down, the occult basically works as a direct, everything that's of Satan or Luciferian, it's a direct mockery of God and Jesus Christ. Okay? As above, so below. So you have, and I'll have some stuff coming up that really breaks this down. But you basically have that whole New Age, cult, atheistic point of view, or whatever you want to call it. They're slowly moving and positioning and taking over. And they're running out any kind of faith in God or Christianity or anything that's whole and righteous and pure. Think about it. Like I said, as above, so below. In every species, for the most part, as far as mammals are concerned, there's a male and a female. The exact opposite of that is all the transhumanism and trans agenda that you're seeing passed everywhere and pushed. For everything that's righteous, there is a direct blasphemic contradiction to it that honors Satan. The origins of the cult stem and root deeper than most people realize. So as I go down this journey and I continue to soul search and I uncover things, I want to continue to share, and I just pray that it's something that's in my heart that I'm led to do, and I hope somehow, some way, it brings people closer to God, and it shows truth and revelation to others. That is the sole purpose of all of this. I'm trying to know and understand God better, and I'm trying to understand the world more. It's my personal spiritual journey. But if any of this information or this content or any of my thoughts being shared can help anybody else or minister to anybody else, then it's worth sharing. If everybody that listens and follows and is going to go on this journey with me, buckle up, and thanks for your support.